begin, you are requested to rename your account with your position, club name, first name, or if you are a district officer, please rename stating your position, the area, the division, and then your first name. This is to confirm your attendance and, of course, to get to know one another in this meeting room. Thank you for your cooperation.
out ulit ako.
Pampasira ng...
Ida, ha?
Out ulit ako, ma'am. Pwede bang hindi na? Ayan o, Ida si El Perez.
Hindi kasi ako taga-check ng ano. Sabagay, wala naman to. Okay?
1:30.
Bahala ka dyan.
Oh, thank you.
So,
bahala talaga. Basta si Ida. Be, Ida, anong position mo ngayon? Rename kita. For you lang.
VP, ano ba ako? VP membership.
Hello? VP membership?
is
Um,
hello, are all participants in, I believe?
VP membership.
Yeah, we can
Everybody
start.
is in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. Ayan, Sucit ha.
Yeah, so Miko, are you there? Our tech person this afternoon is Miko from Cebu,
Queen City.
from Queen City Toastmasters Club of Cebu. There he is. So let us start. My fellow Toastmasters, good afternoon. It is a district's mission to build new clubs. And whether you are here because you are a district officer or you personally understand the importance of club growth, you may help in the district's mission. I am Sucit, a Toastmaster from Davao. As your Toastmaster of the day, I welcome you to this club chartering and demo meeting training. Before we get going, let us pause for a prayer. In silence, let us thank God for all the blessings we received. Let us ask forgiveness for our shortcomings. Let us seek protection and guidance. May God anoint our creativity, ideas, and our efforts so that even our smallest task will bring him honor. This we pray in his name. Amen. And let us now raise our right hand for the Toastmasters promise. As a member of Toastmasters International and my club, I promise to attend meetings regularly, to prepare all of my projects to the best of my ability, basing them on the Toastmasters education program, to prepare and fulfill meeting assignments, to provide fellow members with helpful constructive evaluations, to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow, to serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so, to treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy, to bring guests to club meetings so they can see the benefits of Toastmasters membership offers, to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters education and recognition programs, to act within Toastmasters' core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities. As it is in our Toastmasters promise, we should let others experience the benefits that Toastmasters can offer. And that is actually one of the principles behind creating new clubs. This training aims, yes, again, Toastmaster Miko, we lost the program. Okay. This training aims to provide background and to show the procedure on how to build clubs. And that includes demo meeting. So we have two speakers before we proceed to the breakout session, and to be followed by the breakout discussion or reporting. Then if we are on time, we can enjoy the 5 minutes tayo break. But hurry back in the meeting room because we'll be playing games before we start the open forum. But before you start imagining about that closing remarks thing, I'd like to stop sharing this program. It's time for me to introduce our first speaker. Oh, before that, can you show thumbs up from everyone to see that you're ready? Thank you. How about the next page? Yeah, I think everybody is ready. Our first speaker is, I say, the leading lady in the district club building team. And I believe she is one of District 75's most eligible bachelorettes. She is an executive of Johnson& Johnson's Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, to discuss on the framework of club building, put your hands together for Club Growth Director, Jazz Encarnacion.
Thank you so much, Toastmasters Sucit, for that warm introduction. I don't agree with some of them, but thank you nonetheless. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for spending your lovely Saturday afternoon with all of us to have a better understanding of club chartering and demo meetings. If we could go to the next slide, please. So at the end of this session, next slide, we would be able to identify district leader responsibilities for establishing new clubs. Second is for us to recognize the network of support a district can establish to build new clubs. So it's not only us, there will be other people helping us, the district officers, area directors, division directors, the club officers to support in building new clubs. We will also familiarize ourselves with the club building cycle. What are the activities involved in chartering a new club? And lastly, identify opportunities for new clubs in the area or division. So how can we determine or spot potential or prospective clubs? Hopefully we'll cover all of this in this afternoon session. Next slide, please. So as Toastmasters Sucit shared earlier, we are doing this in alignment with our district mission, which is to build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. But we will focus mainly on the first part, which is building new clubs. New clubs will also enable and empower Toastmasters to become better communicators and leaders. As they build baby clubs and sponsor or support new clubs, their communication and leadership skills will also be developed. And you will learn more about this as we discuss the club building roles. Next slide, please. So what's in it for us? What are the benefits of building new clubs? First is the fulfillment of introducing others to Toastmasters. this is our way of helping more people develop their communication leadership skills, which are very relevant in this challenging period. As you know, more and more companies or organizations are transferring to the new platform, online platform. And in Toastmasters, we develop that skill and we're able to share that as we have more members and build new clubs. Rewards for helping new members. The district has exciting rewards for new clubs, sponsors, mentors who chartered the club. It's also another benefit is leadership development. So performing the roles and responsibilities of club builders and will develop and strengthen the leadership skills of Toastmasters involved in the club building process. There's also the benefit of having more contacts and networking opportunities. You will experience this as you meet new people coming from different organizations, may it be from companies, government agencies, and universities, where those club contacts are coming from. And lastly, district recognition for area or division. And the district has awesome rewards and recognition program for areas and divisions achieving or having new clubs within their areas and divisions. Next slide, please. While all Toastmasters are responsible for expanding the network of clubs, areas and divisions have specific growth goals or new club goals. And for those who have performed the area director or division director roles, you know this very well. To be able to achieve certain awards, especially President's Distinguished Division or area, there should be a club growth of at least one. And if you have clubs who are inactive or who will no longer continue with their Toastmasters journey, then you have to replace them with new clubs. Certain roles imply specific responsibilities. So initially, or the role of building clubs lie with the area and division directors, which serve as liaison between districts and clubs. The area and division directors also work with club sponsors and mentors, and they may be called on to fulfill a number of duties to support club building. But don't worry, this role, the builder role, is not only for area and division directors. You have the option of forming committees or identifying points of contact for your areas or division. So some roles or committees could be the club extension committee, or if you could also have a team for demo meetings, and perhaps a club extension chair for your areas or division. So that you have more people helping in the club formation, because this can be a tedious process, as you'll know later on. Next slide, please. So when we talk of club building, some of us are only aware of demo meetings or filling out the charter documentation forms. It actually involves much more, as you can see in this slide on club building cycle. So it starts with identifying club leads and prospects. So somebody will connect with you and request for a new club, or you may know people or organizations who would need to form clubs. And then after that, you would need to talk to the club contact or the group. If it's a company or a corporation, you talk to the decision makers, the club leads, the club contacts from that organization. And then after that, you present, and this is the demo meeting, and then address any questions or concerns that they may have. After that will be the chartering process, where you fill out or complete the charter documentation forms from forms 1 to 6A and 6B. And then there's the continuous follow-up period where you need to submit the forms to Toastmasters International Contact and make sure that all the forms and payments are submitted. So that's basically the club building cycle. I will cover the first two activities, and I will request Gov JJ, Katrina Letargo, to share her insights on the succeeding club building activities from presentation to the follow-up. Next slide, please. So first is to identify leads and prospects. Although there are thousands of Toastmaster clubs around the world, they represent only a fraction of potential clubs. Club leads can come from anywhere. So first is world headquarters. So if you're not aware of the TLM, so Toastmasters International has the TLM, or Toastmaster Leads Management tool, where Toastmasters or non-Toastmasters from around the world can request for formation of clubs. It's actually on the TI website, where there's portion there that guests or non-Toastmasters can click, where they can fill out the form, their contact information, and those details are forwarded to the club growth directors and the club extension chair. So another is existing members. So for example, for this year, we got a club lead from Malu Cruz. So she's based in the north, and her club lead is from Sulu, which is the Sulu State College, and we're now forming a club in that area. So club lead can also be from existing members who know of people or organizations would like to start their clubs. It could be from your neighbors or from your colleagues. So it can come from anywhere. Another is assess existing clubs. So for example, if it's a corporate club, perhaps there's an opportunity to expand from the headquarters, from usually based in Manila. Then they will form clubs in their branches. For example, Land Bank, they initially built or started a club in their headquarters based in Manila, and then the succeeding clubs were formed in their branches. Same thing with Bavi clubs, which has a lot of Toastmasters club within the Philippines. Target opportunities. So you can also look at community with at least 10,000 people, or corporations with at least 150 employees, and other organizations that you are part of. So now we have a strengthened partnership with Rotary International. So I could say we definitely would have opportunities in that area, and other organizations, national or local levels, that you can think of, that you're a part of, or your members are a part of, that would have opportunities for building clubs. Next slide, please. So the next step is to reach out or connect with the club lead and qualify if that club lead is feasible or a viable option. So once you have the information, you have to follow up leads when you're given the request. Understand the business and need of each club. So you have to really do your homework also. Why is that organization requesting for a club? I remember when we were forming one club, a corporate club in Division B, I met with their HR leaders first and assessed and asked them, why are you building the new club? What's the driver, or what's the need? And then after understanding their needs for their skills development, then I map the competencies of Toastmasters. Good thing we have pathways now, the pathways learning program, which are based on competencies, and mapping to the company competencies, where we establish the actual need of that organization. And from then on, it was an easier process for us to proceed with the chartering activities. And then you have to contact lead promptly. So once you're given the club lead and once you have the information, reach out to the club lead immediately while there's still the momentum or the interest to build or to have clubs in their organizations. To qualify the lead, you have to identify the decision maker. It's not necessarily the club, the initial club contact. So it could be your starting point. And then in your meeting with the club contact, you can ask who will decide on the formation, who will be the sponsors. And from there, you will be able to determine who the decision maker or the sponsors are. So it could be the HR manager or the CFO, or it could be up to the CEO level for a company or corporate club. For a university club like the Sulu State College that we're forming, it's the president of that school. Explain how Toastmasters can help their corporation or organization. So we always look for their need and how we can deliver value for them to achieve their goals. So how for companies, how can they reach their targets or ROI or generate ROI in building the new club? Because for them, they don't know what our metrics are, what the Distinguished Club Program or our DCP goals are. We have to really map the need or the metrics to what the organizations really aim for. And also, after presenting, we have to really step back and listen to their needs, and then assess why they're forming the club, ask the validating questions or verifying questions, and based on their answers, their inputs, position our program on such that you'll be able to come up with solutions that will address their needs or their goals. Okay, so next slide, please. So at this point, I'll be handing the screen, or I'll give the floor to our district advisor to tell us more about the succeeding activities as part of the club building cycle. But I'll first request the Toastmaster of the day to introduce our next speaker. Back to you, Toastmaster Sucit. Toastmaster Sucit, you're on mute.
Yes. Thank you, Director Jazz. Everyone, let us put your hands together for our Club Growth Director. So now, my fellow Toastmasters, that we have already a background on club leads and we have the idea how to deal with the decision makers. I would like to know, I have this question for you that and that is, why would you build a club? It has somehow been discussed by our first speaker. So I believe, other than helping the district achieve its mission, that is also really the willingness to help or to share the benefits to other people. So probably your office mates or just your group in your community. And so now that you have that in mind, you already have the willingness and you have the prospects. Let us dig deeper into the procedure, how to do it, and look at the forms that you may have that you will encounter when you will charter a club. And so let me introduce our next speaker. She was the incoming director that time when I started to be active in the Toastmasters Club. And she led the district into achieving the President's Distinguished Award in 2013. 2013 to 2014 Toastmasters year. But after that, she didn't stop. She's continued to be actively participating in the district activities. And I've known her to be one of the known club builders in our district. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome past division governor Katrina JJ Letargo.
Thank you, Sucit, for that intro. Yes, past division and past district governor. I have the old title. So it's okay. All right. So Club Growth Director Jazz started off by introducing to us the club building cycle. So I would now proceed with the remaining 4 things to do as we build the clubs. Okay. So I will be presenting all the way to doing some follow-ups. Now, when we talk of the remaining items, here are some key points that I would like to share with you. Next slide, please, just to give us, again, a background. So first and foremost, yes, please just click on the mouse, is to know what type of club you are building. Is it, before we used to call it corporate or community. Now, it's just restricted or non-restricted. But if you look at the form, there are now various categories for the particular or to describe the club that you are forming, because there's a different way of presenting if it is a community or a restricted one or a corporate club, as we always call it. The next one that I would like to point out and highlight, yes, please click the mouse, is the form of payment. Because sometimes even if the club is, it's good to go, suddenly there are challenges in the manner of payment and on how it is to be remitted to Toastmasters International. And the final point that I would like to show you today, the last item, would be to really choose wisely the club sponsors, especially the club mentors that you are assigning for the club that you are building. Okay? These individuals are, we can call them key ingredients also to the success of the club that you're building. Now, going back to the third aspect in terms of presenting. Process 3, next slide please, is to present. You have to understand who you're presenting to. If it is a corporate club, there is a so-called pre-demo meeting presentation, which means before you deep dive into the demo meeting, you have to do a solid presentation to the decision makers or the contact person who wants that club to be formed. Why is this important? If you already get the buy-in of the decision makers, definitely your club is good to go. But I want a community club. We recently have a new club, like last part of June, the Setsi and Friends Toastmasters Club. So I'm the charter president. It's a combination of the employees of that Setsi group or company and the community in Marikina. So it's Setsi and Friends Marikina Toastmasters Club. So initially, there is still an initial meeting with some of the key people in Marikina. But we already had to do a deep dive on the demo meeting, making sure that the people in Marikina, the community, are well aware that there is a new club brewing in the eastern side of Metro Manila. So what's the difference? If you know who the decision makers are, having a demo meeting is just a plus factor and icing on the cake. Most often than not, it's a good to go club. If it's a community, you might be doing series of demo meetings. So not just one, not just two. My take on this, if you're already doing, let's say, a series of 3 demo meetings, and you still haven't gotten the traction or the number of people interested, okay, unless you have another strategy, this club might, not be formed at all. Because normally in the first meeting, you have this group of people. Now they will be inviting others for your next demo meeting. So you should be expecting double the number of participants. And of course, on the third demo meeting, you should already be collecting at least more than 50% of the membership forms. So take note of the effort that you're doing whenever you are conducting demo meetings. So there's also, later I will show you the key highlights when you're already doing your presentation. Okay. So what do you do when you're going to present? Next slide, please. There you go. Okay. When you're presenting to decision makers, it's like you're the business development person of Toastmasters. You're developing a new business or presenting a new business for them. So when you present to them, remember, you're also representing Toastmasters International. So you have to be very professional at that. So you introduce yourself, make sure you have a calling card. It can be your Toastmasters calling card and or together with your business card. In my case, I think I have more Toastmaster calling cards more than my business card. Okay, so it's important that you also introduce yourself as, like a brand ambassador of Toastmasters. We have a deck that we always use wherein we present the overview of Toastmasters. Club Group Director Jazz can share this deck with the division director so that it can be shared to the area directors and whoever will be the club builders of that particular group. The third one, which I always show, is the features, benefits, values chart. Or is it the features, values, benefits chart of Toastmasters International? So this is available. Why do I always highlight this one? Because it already showcases what we can get by being a Toastmaster. What are the salient features? I always highlight there the table topics session and the evaluation session. And then it shows the value. What is the value for the group where you're building the club? So the value is that, let's say it's table topics. I highlight that because it creates now the critical thinking skills of the individual. That's the benefit. So the value to the organization, whenever they have meetings, they can manage their time better. I also highlight the evaluation portion of the meeting. The benefit, remember when we do evaluation, we do feedback. So a competency or a skill that we get from this would be listening, mentoring, coaching, dealing with teams. So all of the things that are critical to a company. So value, going back to the receiver or to the company, would be for companies, their employees or the members would be taught these competency levels. In terms of, because in a company, if we have employees, remember every year you do performance reports or you do the performance or you measure the performance of the employees and you also, help them in their development plan. How do you do that? You coach them. So that's the value that goes back to the company. That's why I always show the features, benefits, values chart, which is available in Toastmasters. Another
We cannot hear you, Toastmaster JJ.
none?
We can
Better.
hear you now.
You can hear me now. Okay. The third one is the cost breakdown. Why is this important? They treat it as a business. What is their ROI? So what I do, I always present it in such a way that, in every group, in every company, especially, they have what they call the internal training program. So I always say that Toastmasters supplements whatever training program they have. And then I present them the cost, which is equivalent to really just having $65 per person for the whole 6 months. And they see that as valued savings because per month, per member is really $7.50, which would already translate to a lot of training sessions. And normally in companies, they train a person to become better communicators or presenters. They give what? An 8-hour training program, 16 hours training program. So they see it as value for money. Now, this is the item now, the next bullet, which is very, very important. You have to answer questions as truthfully as you can. Provide the pros and cons. Yes, we would like to have a club. So sometimes, we don't whitewash. You have to be as truthful as possible, which means it takes the company a commitment to make sure that the members or they will be renewing. It's not a one-time deal. Okay? So provide the pros and cons, meaning they have to pay every 6 months or they have to pay annually. And leave it up to them if they want that kind of commitment for management. So I would like to share with you when I presented to the management of Bavi, the Chooks to Go group. I presented to Attorney Nelson, VP for HR, HR manager, and the one leading training. So there were 3 of them. There's just one, me presenting. So I felt like I was defending my thesis. Why having Toastmasters Club, okay, is a very good investment for Bavi group. And of course, lo and behold, we have 13 clubs in Bavi. Next one, give marketing collaterals and or CMS. I always give them with marketing collaterals. In fact, even in your club meetings, it would be best to give away your Toastmaster magazines. Now, when you present, it's really a 30 minutes to 1 hour meeting only. It's not yet a demo meeting. It's really presenting what the organization is about. Because if they like the presentation and they're really interested, automatically they will give you the name of the contact person to whom you will now be coordinating for the demo meeting. Same thing that happened in the recently concluded demo meeting for Sulu State College. So if you recall, we had to present first to the head of the institution before doing that deep dive for the demo meeting. Okay, so after you have presented, they like the idea, they give you the contact person, then you schedule for a demo meeting. Next slide, please. Yes, it is important that you showcase people and the program during the demo meeting. But it does not mean that it will really take you 2 hours for that showcase meeting. You can actually have a showcase meeting in 45 minutes to 1 hour as well. How do you do that? I would like to share with you a sample program that we usually do for a demo meeting. Sometimes a lot of Toastmasters give them everything. The whole enchilada when we have that 2-hour program of our regular club meeting. This is just an introduction of Toastmasters, which means I always prefer to have a welcome remarks coming from the one who is interested in having that Toastmasters club. It could be the president, the director, or the head of that community. Let them have that welcome remarks portion. Then assign someone who will just give the Toastmasters overview. Part of the deck that we use normally is that there's one slide there, so Toastmasters overview, and then here is now the sample of the program. Table topics, prepared speeches, and then evaluation. So after that, you go through now the 3 aspects or important aspects. Then you conclude by this is our demo meeting. those are the three portions of our program. We are now opening the floor for questions, or it's now time for our open forum. So short and sweet. Now it depends on the group on who would be the role takers. For a demo meeting, you can have as low as 5 team members doing your demo meeting, to having a role taker, to probably 7 or 9, just to do all of the roles. So in any case, it really depends on your demo team, on what you want to do. If you notice, we don't have here, or we don't include. Sometimes we do the invocation, but we don't do the Toastmasters promise. We don't do the Pledge of Allegiance. They will find it too formal, and it might be too rigid for the group. It might not sit well with them at this point. After the presentation, once they like it, then once you have assigned the mentor for the club, that's the time that you can have the other items in our regular meeting, should they want to have it. When I formed one of the clubs, it's a BPO club, straight away, the officers said that they do not want to have the Pledge of Allegiance because they consider themselves as an international group, being one of the pioneers of having a global company Toastmasters club. So we did not have for that club the Pledge of Allegiance. It really depends on the club, what they want. But definitely the 3 items will always be there: table topics, prepared speeches, and evaluation. So next slide. Again, to recap, what are the highlights? Table topics. Now, for the prepared speech, you may want to just have one speaker and just do an icebreaker speech, just to let them know how to introduce himself or herself. Okay. Now, we just want to showcase the program, not the person speaking in front, because there's a tendency, you said, oh, we want a showcase, we want the best speakers, but then they don't want to leave the platform, they don't want to leave the microphone. So it defeats the purpose of encouraging the possible members of this new club. It's very important to address their concerns during open forum. Now, please be ready. In the chat box, I have a very important question for you, because once you have presented, this is now phase 4. Next slide, please. So let's see. What could be possible questions and concerns of the prospective members or decision makers? So you have presented it. You have presented the program. You did a demo meeting. What do you think could be questions and concerns of prospective members or decision makers for having a Toastmasters club in their organization or in their community? So please type in your answers in the chat box. Okay. All right. Number of people to qualify. The cost. Yan. What are the fees and how do we pay? There you go. Any other concern? Must they attend? Yes, because it means it's a commitment. Any other possible questions? Would you be there to guide us? Yes. What support will we get? These are actually the real questions being asked. Any other questions or concerns you think? Because you have to be ready with these types of questions. Yan. So, of course, that's why I said earlier in one of the slides, you have to be as truthful as possible. Okay. Oh, yes, for AD Beans, I was asked this question in one of the clubs that we formed. For this question, I would like to highlight, of course, you know the answer to the rest. You know, if we get support, so you always respond with, a mentor will be assigned who will handhold your club. So for the question of how often do we meet, The usual answer, it depends on the club, what you decide on, how many meetings are required. So you go back to Toastmasters International, requires once a month meetings, but it's up to the group. We have clubs who meet weekly. We have clubs who meet twice a month. So it's the group who decides how often you want to meet. So the other one, do we have to speak in English? Okay. What do you think is the answer? Do you have to speak in English? Yes. Yes. Of course, we highlight there's just one club who speaks in the vernacular. Okay. Now, this is the trick now when you do your demo meeting. There was one club. It's one of the branches of the corporate club. However, since it's in the province and they're not used, and it's not a BPO club. So naturally, when they meet clients, they use the vernacular language. When I was told by management of the scenario there, of course, I want to make sure that the members would be engaged to take on the program of Toastmasters. When we did the demo meeting, I was speaking not really in Taglish, but I did not speak in fluent English because the members there primarily are not confident to speak the English language. But I did tell them that when we do the table topic session and when they should be called, as much as possible, if they can, speak in English. But for purposes of the demo meeting, we just want them to express their ideas. But I told them, if you want to speak in Tagalog, make sure it's straight Tagalog. If you want to speak in English, make sure it's straight English. That was during the demo meeting. But I did tell them that once the club is formed, as much as possible, for their prepared speeches, they really have to practice communicating in English. Now, management just gave them additional sessions to help them brush up with their grammar. So yes, they have to deliver it in English. Though we give a leeway for clubs because during the Linggo ng Wika, they can speak in the vernacular. Toastmasters, okay, later I'll answer the rest. But yes, these are the usual questions that we get. Or else I'll be jumping to the Q&A. We still have a lot of stuff to discuss. So there. So these are the possible questions. You are correct. So you have to be ready to answer these questions. All right, moving on. Next slide, please. Once you have addressed the concerns during the demo meeting, during the open forum, now you're ready to help them and they're interested. You're ready to do the documentation, and these are the club charter papers. There are 6 forms that you have to submit to Toastmasters International. You might ask, should I submit them all at the same time, or can I submit them once I have completed that particular form? So we will go one by one. So this is the checklist. Of course, form number 1 is application to organize. Form number 2 is the charter payments. Now, my preference normally when we document or do the documentation as much as possible, we only put the information on the payments on form number 2. Later, I will show you why. Okay. So next slide, please. We'll go to each form. Next slide. Let's look at form number 1. It's a bit small, but just in case, I think there was a link that was given to you in the chat box. Yeah. So the first one, application to organize. So for this particular item, you have to make sure of which city. Now, for the state and province, we are under NCR. Okay. So it's okay. And then at the bottom, yes, if we go on the items down there and to the next slide, you will see there's some of the things I want to highlight. Here we go. There's a box there wherein you really have to tick yes. Now for the next slide, here you go. This is equally important to take note of. The sponsoring club. You can have 2 clubs, so you have to know the club number more than the name of the club. So for us Toastmasters, You have to know your club number as well as your member number. Now, you form the club, but you did not get credit. It means, because once this gets submitted to Toastmasters International will write to you saying, congratulations for forming so-and-so club. You have to write back to Toastmasters International. You have to download confirming and having the club president sign that form and send it back to Toastmasters International. Okay? That's why a lot of people don't really get the credit. So again, you can get 2 sponsors and 2 mentors. Now, a lot of people need credit for this, but make sure you choose wisely, especially on who the mentor will be for that club. Because if they're not committed enough, I'm sure they will not be attending and helping the club during their first 6 months. Okay. So what are your duties? Next slide, please. Next slide. Duties of a club sponsor. Okay. What happened? Yeah, there you go. 2 sponsors, these are the duties. Yes, please click on the mouse. You have to organize a new club. Next. Bullet, follow the club leads. Next, help charter the new club. So club sponsors, you may help complete the charter documents. And of course, the last bullet, help plan for the charter presentation. So once the club is formed, then what happens in a charter presentation? If they're ready, usually the charter papers are not yet with the group. It takes about 3 to 6 months from Toastmasters International to send the charter papers. And it is usually sent either to the club president or to the club contact before it was sent to the district governor or director. Next slide. This is the thing that I also would like to highlight. At the bottom of that page, you have to make sure you know where the club would be geographically aligned to. So you have to write there, District 75, of course, the division for which it will be aligned with, and the area. Why? Once the documents get submitted to Toastmasters International, most often than not, you will see there, Division A pa yata minsan eh. District A, parang may mga ganon. So, you will not see there, or it goes to another division, or it's unassigned. That's why it's equally important to know the alignment of that club. Next slide. For the club mentor, what are the duties? Yeah. So, last night we had another training on this one, and last month about mentoring and coaching. Definition, a club mentor. Yes, please click on the bullet. Someone who shares his or her expertise and knowledge. And the duty for the new club, first and foremost, to ensure the club is strong and fully functional, helping the club for the next 6 months, and confirming that the officers understand their duties and the tools they need to perform them. So once the club is formed, what do? We do a membership orientation. We do a club officers training. What's included in the membership orientation? This is my recommendation. Moments you discuss the Toastmaster wears many hats. What are the roles in a club meeting? The next one, there's a different orientation for the club officers, of course. The next one would be doing the moments of truth for the club. So at least they know how they will be measured if they have a quality club. And the last one, at least an introduction to pathways. Because once you submit the forms, they will receive an email from Toastmasters International, and they have to do their assessment and choose the path. So at least those are the things for club mentors that I ask them to do for the new club. So we're done with form number 1. Yay! So let's now go to form number 2. Next slide, please. Charter payments. Okay. So again, this is the form for charter payments. So don't worry, I have a breakdown on the next slide. I just want to highlight. So again, the information that you need for the payment below. Can we highlight that one na lang for the payment? Okay. It is important that you discuss this to the prospective club. If you notice, they have there the different credit cards and there's that check or postal money order. The club might say, or the group might say, oh, we have a dollar account. I always ask them, where is the bank? They say, here in the Philippines. Then it's not possible. So don't let them pay by check. So just choose credit card or wire transfer. Because if the bank, even if it's a dollar account, is here in the Philippines, it's not recognized in the US. Unless you have somebody there who can vouch and give their check for Toastmasters International, then that is possible. So next slide. This is the details that you have to discuss with them. So what's the breakdown? You have to explain this to them because even the prospective clubs, if they can have someone from finance join you, then it's better for you. So remember, you always multiply this by the number of members joining. So you also tell them, can you click the mouse so we'll see the total at the bottom there. So the total amount is $1,425. Okay? So they might think that, let's say the $20 and the charter fee, this might always be every 6 months. You only, of course, explain to them that the $900 is the one that they have to pay every 6 months. Now, later, during the Q&A, we'll explain further because a lot of people get confused. It's easy if the club is formed in October or April because it coincides with the payment period that we have and that we remit to Toastmasters International. But what about if the club is formed in February or in December, okay, or in April, or September? So later we will discuss that in detail. How do you compute? Okay, so important highlights for charter payments. Next slide. Another highlight I want to share with you. If they pay, you have to explain that if they pay by credit card, it would be the current exchange rate of the bank. Okay. While if it's by wire transfer, you have to explain that they have to add $40 for the bank charges here in the Philippines and for the one in the US. But they will say, but it says in the form that it's just $10. That's in the US. But remember, payment is coming from the Philippines. You have bank charges here. Now, maybe it's not, I just rounded off the figure using $40 because our exchange rate fluctuates. Why? There are cases wherein they just pay exactly, not $40. Lo and behold, you will say, what, we already remitted the payment. How come payment is incomplete? That means, if you use wire transfer, baka kulang yung pina-wire transfer nyo, hindi $40. Because probably, most often than not, it's about $36 total. Yung sobra naman goes back to your club. It gets returned to the club. And you will see that when you look at the invoice or the club statement. So take note. Credit card or wire transfer, I always prefer using credit card. Okay. Next slide. For the next form number 3, membership application form. Now, the items on the left side are the key things that you have to, hold on, are the key things that you have to consider always. The name, the address, the email address as well. Why? Toastmasters International sends us a lot of information. And they send it based on what we have written down in our profile or membership application form. Phone number, and then don't forget that the digital signature of the member and the officer is important. So that's for, oh, at the bottom of the page, there's also the payment. I don't recommend that you write any information on this particular form. Just use form number 2 as well. Next, form number 4. Charter Club Officer information. So it depends on the group if they want to appoint or they want to nominate or elect their club officers. But here are the highlights that you should not miss. The name of the officer, the email address, and the signature of the secretary at the bottom, confirming that these are the official officers of the club. So we're good with form number 4. We go to form number 5. Club information. Next slide, please. Okay, so can you hit the bullets? Okay, there are a few things that I would like to highlight for this form. Contact, or go back one slide, there you go. So club information is equally important that you write here the club meeting information, because this is the reference of Toastmasters International that they put in the Toastmasters site, which means if there is a person or a group who would, let's say, search for a club, they try to look for a club in a particular city. So whatever you write there, then that's what's reflected in Toastmasters International. Okay. Of course, in our case, we don't usually write what state or province, but for those in Metro Manila, we can use NCR as our state, not state of calamity. Finally, we go to the last form, form 6. It's divided into 2. Club constitution. So you have there the name of the club, city, of course, the date when you signed this particular document. So the date in the charter, in form number 1, the application to organize might be different, might have a different date with the club constitution document. And don't forget to have your president and secretary sign this important document as well. And the last form, under form number 6, 6B. Next slide, please, the addendum of standards. There you go. This one has a more detailed, or requires a more detailed information. So aside from the usual club name, club location, sometimes if you don't know the club number yet, because you want to submit the document all at the same time, then leave it blank. But in the event that you submitted the charter documents first, and then a club number has been assigned to this prospective club, then you may put now the information about the club number in the succeeding forms. Don't leave any item blank. You have to fill out this form completely. So if you don't, or if it's not applicable, then just write NA, not applicable, or if there's a numerical value, just put 0. And likewise, the secretary must sign this important document. Why? Toastmasters International will return the documents to you just to make sure it's complete. Okay? Now we go to the last phase in the process, follow up. Okay? So when following up, don't be too aggressive because you need that credit. Remember, that term is from July to June. But this club, you've been trying to encourage them to form a club. It's already June 15. The club is not yet formed. So don't be aggressive because it might put the organization in bad light. Case in point, there was this club. It's a shared services club. Before, when the geographic location wasn't being strictly followed in the district, it was supposed to go to another division. Let's call it division XYZ. However, one of the people in the division XYZ became too aggressive to the point that they felt exasperated and wrote directly to the point person, copy furnished the finance, the CFO of that particular company. So definitely the company got turned off. Good thing that management really wanted that club. So the directive was find another group who will help us. That happened simply because that group of Toastmasters got too aggressive because they wanted to make sure that they form the club within that timeline. All right. So never fail to follow up, but don't get too aggressive in following up. Why? Once it gets formed, probably not in your term, it will still be formed. However, for the next term, in your group as well. Okay? So continue to always have leads. You don't know. You can also be helping. If you have consistent leads, it will really help you, the division, and even the other people in your organization. Okay? So I would like to share with you why, in my case, we became President's Distinguished, and Dottie, who is now our International Director, also became President's Distinguished, simply because because I'm not a greedy person. When we formed Bavi, I knew that there are 13 clubs. I told them, oh, I only need 3 clubs to make it 2 presidents. But they said, oh, no, we can give you all 13. I said, no, no need for that. I'm fine with 3. They still gave me 6. So the remaining 7, gave it to Dottie. So that way, I win, Dottie wins, district wins. That's why if we have, constantly been looking for leads, it helps everyone. So next slide, in a nutshell, before we go to the case studies, club building is basic mission for us in Toastmasters. All of us have club building roles, not only the leaders of the district, but every Toastmaster, I'm sure, has a lead. And then the next bullet, as I've mentioned, district leaders and of course division and area directors have opportunities to assist club building efforts. We have to help our fellow Toastmasters who have very good club leads. And don't forget that today we shared with you, next bullet, the club building cycle has 6 steps. Last 2 bullets, club leads can come from anywhere, and make sure that you conduct moments of truth periodically to the clubs. Now, once you form the club, here are some tips I would like to share with you. First 4 tips, again, we can just show all 4 items. Make sure, as I mentioned, you conduct a membership orientation. Make sure you make the club officers have a club officers training. The club needs to practice starting and ending meetings on time. It will help them have a successful and quality club. And of course, make them greet guests warmly. Even in Zoom, you can have a chit chat prior to the start of the meeting if they come in early. Okay. Last 4 tips. Next slide, please. Last 4 bullets. Okay. Make sure that they're trained to have an agenda with them, and make sure that they follow the Toastmasters program, the key meeting segments, and whenever they need to promote their club, make sure that they use the materials consistent with the Toastmasters brand. We have a brand portal in Toastmasters. And finally, as I've said, conduct the moments of truth sessions. To help you with all of these things, let me share with you my last slide. These are the resources that you can look at should you want to build a Toastmasters club. So there you go. I now turn back the proceedings to Sucit because my next slide is Q&A, and I think we can have it later. So Sucit.
Wow, that was a lot of information. How are you, everyone? We are 40 in this room. So shake, 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 shake. Are you still okay? Yeah, thank you for that waving and the thumbs up. We're done with the talks at this time. But before we proceed to the breakout session, may I inform our tech guy, Toastmaster Miko, to start this, assigning the participants now into the 4 breakout rooms, while I say to others that we got your questions in the group chat. Don't you worry, we will answer later. And I believe some questions were already answered. And the manual, the link of the manual was posted in the group chat, so you can check it. And you can find it anytime in the TI website. And you may approach your club growth director or the trio if you have any questions. So let's wait for our room assignments. We'll have discussion, and this time would like to share ideas from you. This is your opportunity to help the club also gain club leads and suggestions on how we could create more clubs in the district. So I'll see you all again later after your 15-minute let us call the first presenter from group 1. Your facilitator is off to her next meeting, so I'll be the one to introduce and highlight you. Please welcome Toastmaster Aubrey Harrell.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So yeah, the question we have was how can we, as area directors, find prospective community-based clubs? And we had some interesting ideas, and I'm going to share them with you. First of all, we need to look for leads from our existing members. So perhaps existing members have some ideas. We also had an idea about in Facebook, there are a lot of communities or groups that already exist, and these people know each other and support each other. So it would be an interesting idea to target these communities or groups, and they already have a core group in place that perhaps could be benefited by having a Toastmasters club. We also talked about advocacy groups that perhaps also we could find within the community. It could be, we mentioned LBGQ and mental health groups or religious groups or rehab groups. These also might need a voice, and Toastmasters could benefit their group in some way. And another was an idea for community clubs to hold their meetings in public places to create some curiosity or noise. And maybe this isn't possible right now, but in the future. And it reminded me that a few years ago in Cebu, we held an contest at SMC side Cebu at the mall, and it was interesting because we had a corner of the mall to use, and we had a lot of people stop and just check out what was happening, and I think it generated a lot of interest in Toastmasters. And aside from this, we as individual members can also make sure that we are proactive about inviting people to Toastmasters. So we can invite maybe the weekend before our upcoming club, take some time to sit down and make a list and send out invites so that we have more people joining our clubs. And don't forget social media. It's also a great way to promote Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aubrey. Let us give her a round of applause for that sharing. So I'd like to hear from the other group one that was facilitated by Toastmaster Ched. And Toastmaster Ched, may you introduce your reporter?
Hi. Yes, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Our reporter is none other than the president of iConnect, Gilo Retutar.
Good afternoon, everyone. And we actually are tasked to answer our topic. And our topic is, same with Toastmaster Aubrey. The question was, let me just read it for you, just for a recall. Okay. An important responsibility of area and division directors is to build and support new clubs. As an area or division director, how do you find prospective community-based clubs? Here are some insights from area director for Famoso rather. I like what he said, framing his insights by saying, we are first Toastmaster. And the duty of a Toastmaster is to be a voice to the voiceless. So that means to say that he presented this adage through networking through social media and boosting our social media presence. Remain visible at all times with your social media accounts, such as Facebook, Instagram, or if you have Tumblr, yes. So really, he said that social media can be a force to reckon with. We would never know how social media would reach millions or perhaps the world, so to speak. And with that, by promoting Toastmasters on your individual social medias, then it would ripple, or it would have a ripple effect on the club growth and as well as area growth and then division growth and then all the way up to the district growth. And with that being said, individual efforts begins in each and every member, not even area directors, so to speak, to help the objective of our district. And then we also got a response from Toastmaster Edith. And she said, we can build club even as a regular member. Promote Toastmasters in every Toastmaster meeting that you're in, or a demo meeting that you may find yourself in. And then share the value of having a Toastmasters club to the prospective Toastmasters club. And that would be all for us, group one, the other group one, rather. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Oh, thank you very much for that. Let us proceed to the next reporter. For group two, may I call Toastmaster Tisha to introduce your reporter?
Good afternoon, everyone. Our presenter is Ayen Garcia from Division N. M.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Our case study is initiating connection with the corporation or government agency to convince them to form and fund an in-house Toastmasters club is an effective club building. if you got the chance, how would you convince the decision makers? So based on our discussion, okay, we have some good suggestions here on how we can initiate and convince decision makers to build clubs in corporations or government agencies. Okay, one is, okay, find more who we can communicate with. Okay, example, in LGU, find the need, develop and understand and create the need of a group, you know, that they need this communication program of Toastmasters for their local government. Um, we have an example there. A case that I discussed was when we put up an LGU Toastmasters Club in Pangasinan. It was very easy for us because we were able to establish the need for them to have a Toastmasters Club in that local government unit because of the lack of the skill of communication and leadership. Then we also discussed about creating and making a costing. I think it's very important because many government agencies and companies would also like to know how much would it cost in terms of the investment that they need to put in. The third that we discussed also is a prerequisite that we must connect with the right contact person so that when we write letters, we know already right away who the right person to talk with. And then we have some specific government agencies that have requirements for, like example, ORs. So these ORs are to establish payment trails and can be used as an alignment with employees with the requirement of the government or even the company to issue ORs. That is one or another one. And another specific contribution is on the alignment of the Toastmasters program with the company or corporation's training or engagement program. And in that way, they know that the benefits or what they would be needing would fit to the requirements of their employees. Plus, to link and to align some point systems, for example, for teachers, you know, that they can have like a, as a point of promotions or a point system that can be linked to our Toastmasters program that can be used to engage them and join a Toastmasters club. I think that is for our report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ayan. And the next one to call her reporter will be Toastmaster Nicey.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Sucit. For case 3, our reporter is the Division N Director. The Division N Director, Annette. And I'll just share the screen for the case.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
So for our case, it's really promotional activities are possible inbound or outbound lead sources as part of our district's club building team. What are your strategies in promoting Toastmasters International? Now, our team was able to provide 3 areas that we can really leverage on. Number 1 is being proactive. So we can write to corporations, organizations, and probably requesting if we can present to them, and also leverage on networking and our events and inviting external guests as well to showcase what Toastmasters is all about and what we can offer. Second portion, I noticed that we're all millennials here in this room, leverage on social media. So especially now that everyone is stuck indoors, so perhaps we can also have promotional materials in social media, share it around, show them what we can do, and perhaps even, you know, showcase some meetings also online so that they can see what a friendly environment we have in Toastmasters. And third would be the word of mouth. We are the best people who can promote Toastmasters is a Toastmaster, right? Everyone in this room and all members can definitely showcase and promote Toastmasters to their friends, their families, their coworkers, so that we can definitely promote and encourage everyone to have either a demo meeting in their company or a community and increase more club building. That's it. Thank you.
Wow, that was
Thank you.
concise, Toastmaster Annette. Thank you very much. We've all heard the 4 breakout presentations. And thank you very much for your cooperation. And at this point, we're so lucky to have 3 extra minutes for our bio break. As I have said earlier, come back soon. We'll be playing games and prizes await us. So let's take a break.
Yay, bio break. See ya.
Hello. Noon. Oh, we have 45 seconds. 42. I hope will be back when the timer stops. Two and one. Oops. What's this? So yeah, that's a photo. Welcome back, everyone. I hope Director Jazz is ready for our game. So yes, this game is sort of a review of everything that has been discussed during the 2 talks that we had. And then your questions and maybe just an analysis or summary of the everything you've shared will be tackled later in the open forum. And
Oo.
so, Toastmaster Jazz, please share your screen now.
Yep. So our game is Kahoot. Those who are not familiar with the in your phone, there's an app
Okay.
screen. There. Okay, so in your web browser, you can join by typing in www.kahoot.it, or if you have the application, you can download also the application Kahoot. And the game pin is 9861667. So this is a game with prizes. The top 3 winners will get to receive cash prizes. The first prize, the first place will get 1,000 worth of GCash. Second prize, 800 pesos. And third placer will receive 500 pesos. Okay? So I can see that we have 6 players. Perhaps you can have 1 more minute to allow other participants to join. Again, type in kahoot.it or download the application Kahoot and type in the game pin, which is 9861667. Okay? So this is a test or a knowledge check of all the points that were shared earlier by the speakers and during the breakout sessions. Okay, 10 more seconds and we're good to go. So far we have 12 players. We have Vince, Jay, Melinda, Tisha Teams, Jello, Esther, Shomai Sauce, whoever you are, Nicey, Aubrey.
Yeah, that's why I got
Ian.
distracted because I saw an ad, a show my ad. Yeah, so kanina pagbalik,
What's
ano
the
to?
Shomai ad?
Ano to? May delivery daw. Nice move. Anyway, we talked about
Okay, so far we have 15 layers, 5 more seconds, and then we can start. I hope more people can join. The more, the merrier. I guess we can start. We have 16 so far. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we'll start. So this is about club chartering and demo meeting. Can you see my screen? So
yes,
first
we
question
can.
is, what is the minimum number of members required to charter a Toastmasters club? Minimum
Okay.
number of members for
That
you to
question.
be able to charter a Toastmasters club. The answer is 20. Okay. Next is, so far, the one who got it correct is Club Builder. Whoever that is will know later. There's a mystery.
I think I know
Mysterious
her.
player. Second question. These are individuals who are assigned to assist the club for the first 6 months after charter has been granted. Okay, the answer is club mentors. So with the official assignment, of course, other officers, other Toastmasters can join, but those with the official role is the club mentors. Next, again, club builder. Way to go. Next question, number 3. How many club mentors, the one who will assist the club for at least 6 months, may be assigned to a newly chartered club? What's the maximum number of club mentors? Okay, the answer is 2. You have 2 club mentors. Shawmai sauce. Wow, we have a new leader.
Oh.
Another mysterious player. Next, what is the total cost of chartering a new club with 20 new members? I believe GovJJ discussed this a while ago. Total cost of chartering a new club with 20 new members. The answer is $1,425. Next, again, Shawmai sauce, congratulations. Let's see if the other players can catch up. Next question. Club charter fees and membership dues or fees may not be paid from district funds or a district leader's personal funds. True or false? True. We are not allowed, the district officers, area directors, division directors, district officers cannot pay through their personal funds. Next question. Wow, is this Director J, Division Director J? Congratulations. And Annette is the second placer. Let's see. 6th question. How many dual members may become charter members of a new club? What is the maximum number of dual members that are allowed to become charter members of a new club? The answer is 3. Only maximum number of 3 dual members. Again, Director J, congratulations. Now moving on to number 7 question. A demo meeting may not include the evaluation portion. True or false? No evaluation portion. The answer is false. The evaluation is definitely critical and should be part of a demo meeting. So who's our top placer? Again, still Director J. Congratulations. Let's see if he will maintain the lead for question number 8. What do you call a special club with a requirement that its members have already achieved an advanced TM award? So this is a special club with special requirements to become members of that club. The answer is advanced club. Who got it right? Again, Director J, followed closely by Aubrey. Moving on to second to the last question. What is the recognized authority on parliamentary procedure of the Toastmasters International? And we add this to Form 6B. So it's important that we know the parliamentary procedure that we use. Oh my, this is not correct. The answer is Robert's rule. So we'll remove this, and I'm sorry for this. I don't know what
What
happened.
is Johnson's rules?
Loyal kasi.
Why?
Obvious, Jazz. Obvious.
I tested this
Oh,
earlier.
man.
Sorry for this.
Ah.
Good thing. How do we now? Anyway, we'll go to the next one. Last question. Subject to the non-discrimination requirements, membership in a club is by invitation only and may be subject to a vote by the members of the club. Is it true or false? Okay, the answer is true. And that is okay. Now, who is our top placer? It's Director J. Congratulations, Director J. followed by Aubrey,
Mm.
and the third is Club Builder. I don't know who Club Builder is. Maybe know who Club Builder is.
And may you introduce yourself, Club Builder? Isn't that JJ?
Kaya nga.
Oh, I thought it's JJ.
No,
Is
binana
she?
ko
No?
ni Tita Jazz kung
Oh.
ano.
Oh, so we have
So who is
another
To
it?
club.
join.
Yeah.
Who is the
Oh,
club
come
builder?
on, come on. You need to show your face in order to claim your. It's 300. How much is it?
500 for
1,000.
the
One
third prize. So
for the
Director
third.
J will
Third
receive
prize.
1,000, Aubrey
Yes.
800, and Club Builder 500. So please send your
Your feeling.
GCash number to me and I'll
Okay.
transfer the cash prize.
Deliver.
I don't know who Club Builder is, but
The
can you
fourth
please
place can
can
claim if he doesn't disclose.
Yes. So,
Correct.
Toastmasters Aubrey J, please give your bank details or GCash
GCash?
and details to
Wow.
Director Jazz and Club Builder. You have to identify yourself. And of course, your bank
Correct.
details. Hoy, wala talaga. Hindi siya even
And
nag-chat.
fourth place
Unless
can
si
take.
Club Builder may ano, may
May?
ID. May
Yeah.
ID na Club Builder talaga
Okay.
siya.
Yeah. So, that was a very informative game. Thank you very
Si
much,
Nobel daw.
Director Jazz. Let's give Director Jazz a round of applause, everyone. Galaw-galaw ng mga kamay. Okay. So let us proceed to the open forum. At this point in time, I am happy to introduce that other than our two speakers, we also have the district trio here. So may I acknowledge District Director Marilyn and Director Richard. Are you here, Director Chard? I saw you earlier. No, not here anymore. So
He's
we
fixing his
have,
hair.
yeah, we have Director Marilyn, Jasmine, and past Governor JJ to entertain your questions. So, any anyone who'd like to start
I think we
giving their
have a couple
question?
of questions raised earlier during the talk of Club JJ. Perhaps we can
Yeah,
start
okay.
with
I have
those.
here, I noted, how often do we meet from AD Ian? AD Ian, can you please explain your question, meaning the newly chartered club?
Yeah, so
Okay.
usually that's usually the question we get when we do demos. Sometimes kasi with especially corporate clubs, they are hesitant to do weekly sessions and they're afraid na okay, is this going to be a weekly thing? So yeah.
I guess I answered that earlier, but it
Ah.
depends on the club during my talk. So are there any other questions you have in mind that I also wasn't able to answer in the chat box? That's still bugging you for
I have
this
a
session?
question.
Go ahead, Ayan.
Okay, this I encountered in one of the corporate clubs that we set up. Many corporate clubs, the company would pay for their members, and then they have the right to choose the members that they'd like to put in or enrolled in the Toastmasters Club. And then they would one time they asked me because they got frustrated with this member who was not able to who's not like who's like a perennial absentee of during meetings and would not like to deliver his speech, and he was saying that can we replace this member and change to a new member.
Yes, thank you, Ayan. I think I also answered that in the chat box for everyone. So my answer there is, unfortunately, the employee is already paid for the period mentioned. So what HR can do is to put a system where an employee who does not complete the training or miss the attendance or does not want to be a member anymore or who resigned, like in any training program that the company gives, that they have to let's say the penalty is like they pay it back, or it depends on how much is still remaining for the period, then they just pay it back. So again, it depends on the company, what monitoring system or any system in place that they want to happen, especially if it's the company who pays for them.
So
Thank you.
can I mention also the other questions I noted? Most of them were already answered. Number of participants, the cost, the payment, the support, and the officers. So I believe it was discussed also by Gob JJ. And the link of the manual of club building is found in the group chat. You may also visit the TI. So I didn't notice this discussed, however. There is a question. Can members start delivering speeches even before the club is officially chartered?
Okay, I think there's my follow-up question. I need to know first what is the status of the paperwork that's being submitted to TI. I think that's from Distinguished Toastmaster Janet. So may I know what is the status? Were all the papers submitted and you're just waiting for confirmation from TI? Or you're still building the membership for this prospective club? Because my answer will vary.
Waiting for the papers to be officially recognized and processed.
Okay, but all the papers have been submitted.
Yes.
So you're just waiting for TI confirmation. All right. My usual take on this is that since the club has completed all the necessary documentation and you don't want the club to, lose their engagement, then continue having meetings. Now, it now depends or the call of the group. If they just want to continue doing or always conducting, let's say, the table topic session for everyone just to practice and gain their confidence until waiting for the official confirmation. Or if TI has already, oh, by the way, has TI confirmed that they have received all documents, but in the dashboard, it's still prospective? Has TI confirmed that yes, all documents are received, but it's not just shown in the dashboard?
They have just submitted.
Oh, they have just submitted, but they've been already meeting.
Yes.
Because you can already start with the orientation of the members. Because if you've already submitted, it just usually takes TI maximum of a month to show it in the dashboard. But in terms of confirming it, you should get the confirmation that everything is in order. Because if everything is in order, then for me personally, it's okay now to go through with the orientation, teach them about the roles, and see and assess if they are already ready. Because in pathways, they still need to do their assessment, but they won't be able to do it. But in pathways, project 1 or the icebreaker speech project is the same across all paths. So you might want to help them start with their icebreaker speeches, but not with the succeeding speech projects. Does that answer your question, Janet?
Yep. Yep.
Thank
It's
you
more
for
for the
that.
information of the group rather than
Mm.
me personally.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I know there is a concern like that, which was escalated to me.
And so the last one question I've noted here was already answered also, replacement of inactive member. And I cannot find any more in the group chat. So anybody, please unmute yourself and ask questions now.
Unless the trio or even say Nene or Jazz or Richard or any other club builders in the room has another take on my response to Janet, please share your thoughts as well.
Yeah, I agree with your point. I also got the same query. If they have submitted their payments, are actually allowed. And we also raised that query to Toastmasters International Contact just to make sure that we're aligned with the TI rules. If they've submitted their charter payment and membership payments and it's just being processed, the TI contact inform us that they are allowed to already deliver at least per speech project because the icebreaker is the same across all paths. and take on the minor meeting roles like timer, grammar, the technical evaluator roles, but not the speech evaluator roles. And then only when they complete their pathways assessment can they proceed to the succeeding speech projects.
Same here. When we had our new club formed, the Hallmark Toastmasters Club, so we allow them to deliver their speeches, the basic one, while processing on the details and all those papers in TI. And all of those members still make sure that the enthusiasm starting to build up, and just don't kill them because the papers are not yet reflected on the dashboard. So we allow them actually. But all the evaluators come from other clubs.
Okay, so somebody raised hands. So come in, VPPR Krevi.
Yes, good afternoon. To past DDJJ, does it still apply the 20 members? Then you said that there should be 20 new members to form a club. Does it still apply the 17 plus 3 old members or the
Yes,
existing members?
17, yes, 17
And
new and 3 who might be the
existing
transfer, dual. Okay,
yes.
so you need 20 members to form a club. If you have 20 new, well and good, or 17 new and 3 who are already Toastmasters.
Okay, thank you. That
Thank
was
you.
one of the questions in the Kahoot we had. Next question. No more? Yes, Toastmaster from Barangay Toastmasters Club.
Sir, I have a question. If there is a club, there is a contact from, say, another province like Luzon, and we are in Visayas, and he is inquiring about forming a new club, and what happens to the alignment of that club? Would it be credited under our division or area, whatever that our club is in, or would we be forced to give credit to put that club into a Luzon-based division? What happens? What is the rule on that?
Yeah, so the credit will go to the one who provided the club lead in terms of the sponsor. But the club mapping or credit we will still follow the geographical mapping or location of the club. So if it's in, for example, to your club lead, those master DTM Esther Ifugao, then it will go to Division G. Sorry, I have to have an example. So still we'll follow still the geographical mapping. For example, Sulu State College, the club lead was from Pampanga. So the sponsor credit went to the one who provided the club lead, but the club credit uh, goes to division of Director Nino.
I have a follow-up question.
Yes.
Just for example, that the club is not too far and the signals are okay and we're having these Zoom meetings, does it follow that you have to really have a geographical, uh, geographical concern? Because right now, even in our club, we have members that are in US, in Canada. They are active members and attending our meetings. And I'm just wondering about the geographical location, because in Zoom, there is a borderless, it is borderless. So we can just form any club and just, just put them together. One from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, from Bacolod, Manila, or Davao, then put them together to have 20, something like that.
Yeah, actually, I also got requests to form clubs in other countries while the club lead came from the Philippines. So, but when we go, I understand your point, BTM Esther. Although when we go to the new normal, the thing that we have now, I hope, will not be permanent. Eventually, we'll go to the new normal, which is like perhaps a hybrid Toastmasters Club meeting where 80% of club members attending are face to face or in person, attending in the same venue, while perhaps 20% will be via online platforms. So, in anticipation of that new normal, then we will have to, then the geographical mapping will still be valid. So, we'll have to follow that. But only the club credit will go to the geographical mapping or to the division closest to that club, but the sponsor credit can still go to the person who provided the club lead.
Well, I have a concern on that also. What if the area director is trying to to be a president's distinguished area
Yeah, I
trying to add
understand
a
the
club?
concern.
What about that?
Yeah. So that's why I think it's a give and take. That's why other clubs from other or contacts or Toastmasters from other areas also provide club leads coming from different areas. So it's really a give and take, and we really have to follow the geographical mapping so as to prevent the realignment and other concerns that will arise from having the previous situation that we had before. Uh, Gov JJ, DD Nene, would you want to add inputs to that?
So
Coming
we
from historical perspective also.
Yes, coming from historical perspective. So we had a chance 2 years ago. We make sure that we have the formation geographically for all the clubs because we make sure that the services, the visitations of our area directors would be met on that particular divisions, on that particular area. So we make it possible for that one to make sure that this will be met and services will be received by the members in the area and the division as well. So with that one, we try to make it to make sure that the alignment geographically is even to our great advantage actually. But nevertheless, as we look into the merits or even the credits, still go for the sponsors who made that one. But as to the location, we will maintain and geographically, so if it's in Sulu, meaning it's in Mindanao, so it goes to division E to the Recnimio. So if I get one, say for example, I have one in Pampanga, a friend of mine give me this one, but I'll be the sponsor, but the credit would be given to that area for that division in that area. So ours here in Toastmasters would be a give and take process. So listening to the example, the concrete example given to us by PDGJJ, when she was offered 13 clubs from Bavi, she did not accept all the 13 clubs because she would want to have it given to the next, to the incoming DD, which is our now international director, Dati. So it is something give and take, but nevertheless, it's something that in the end of the process, ours would be given a chance for all of us to give the best service to our members. So it's geographical. That's one that we look into something to an advantage, both to the members and to the area and to the club and to the division as well. And as a whole, it goes great for the district. Look, JJ, you want to add something?
I think of JJ is
Yes.
experiencing connection
Uh-huh.
issues. Yeah. And just to add to that, coming from what Didi Nene shared, because the reason why we're also encouraging geographical mapping is also for the area directors and division directors because eventually they would have to visit the club. So it's really hard to like if that club will be aligned. For example, if we push for Sulu being under division G, which is the source of the club lead, then it will be hard for that area director to visit the club from Pampanga to Sulu. So better align it to the geography or to the location where it's easier to get the support system that club would need.
Kubje, if I may add, there is one example that was presented to me by President Glory. She has this possible lead and eventually to form a club there in Canada. So he was asking how this would be possible. It's still possible though, but that club that you will be forming, that will be on that district, but it will not be given to us in District 75. But you can still be the club sponsor. So it would be a give and take, even in a district-wide level. So GovJJ is also forming, she has formed 2 clubs in the US, and she has already given that to the US, to the district on that particular clubs that she formed before. So it's something that it's a give and take actually. So visiting the club now would be online, it's now easier, but eventually by next year or 2 years from now, we can really meet in person. We can go back to the old self that we had, and probably it would be easier to really maintain our geographical map for the clubs that we are currently and implementing geographical location. Did we answer your question, DTM?
Yes. Thank you very much for that. So can we have last 2 questions?
Question.
Yes.
I have question. Again. Can I take the question? All
Yeah,
right.
go ahead.
Just to follow up regarding the geographic concern. How about in Metro Manila? We don't have much. We have like cross. Like we don't have a problem in terms of geographic concerns because Metro Manila, but we have plenty cities because we're planning to form a club, but it's a segmentized. When I mean segmentized, it's like it's a target market of say business people or entrepreneurs, and they belong to different areas. Say their offices or their residents are from Makati, Manila, Pasay, Pasig, and we belong to one organization that we want to put in. Is there a concern in terms of geographical, given that we belong to different cities, whether it's a residence or an office?
Okay, so Ayen, because based on the last district council meeting, so it was really proposed that we go by city. So given that it's already by city, then that's why it's really helping each division when they have a club lead, so that some divisions will not be, just limited to that area. So I suggest that we really ask other people to help each other form clubs. There are so many Toastmasters.
Yeah, but what if it's like one organization that want to put a Toastmasters club?
Yeah, actually have flexibility there, Director Ayen, since you mentioned several locations, right? So the key point there is where the address will be listed. So in the charter form, you have there the address of the organization. Then, for example, if it's in, right?
Can't hear you.
We lost you, Jay. So we lost Director Jazz. Can somebody continue or share his or her idea?
I'll continue with Just na lang.
Okay.
Hello,
Welcome,
everyone.
Director Chard.
Yeah, so I think what Just was trying to say to the question was, if your members come from different cities in Metro Manila, just make the base where your division is. So if you're from Division B, make sure that the base of the club is in Division B. So that would be the address of the club in Makati. But even if they have members that resides in Taguig because they're doing online meetings, they join that club, it's okay, as long as the club's address is indicated that it's in Makati, then it's in Division B.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's point that I was disconnected. Thank you. Toastmaster Director Ayan, did that answer your question? Okay.
Thank you
Okay,
for answering on my behalf.
uh, before I call the last one to ask the question, I'm reminding everyone to please answer survey or the feedback form. I posted it in the group chat. Please, though, this will really help the training team improve if there or from your suggestion on what else we can do to make the future trainings better. Please answer the form now. And so, going on to the last person who will have the question this afternoon. Anyone? Going once?
Well, they're still
Twice? Are there?
well, they're still thinking of their last question.
Okay. Okay.
I have a
Toastmaster.
question. I still don't have the details of Club Builder. I've transferred the cash prize of Jay and Aubrey. Congratulations.
Wow.
For Club Builder, please send me the message, the GCash number. Otherwise, after this, you will forever be forgotten. And
So just a forfeit pala yan.
Just get the form.
Oh.
Until
Yes.
6 o'clock in the evening.
Okay. So who is the fourth placer, Director Jazz?
I don't know. It's not
I think it's
shown. Only the top 3.
Okay. So, Director Melinda, are you going to ask a question?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sucit. I'm addressing this to the district trio. I'm working in a government in a higher or a state university, and we have been asking for sponsorship for our Toastmasters Club in the same university. The reason why we could not be sponsored is because of the club that is attached to our organization. I mean, to our, yes, because of the club. So the government, the SUCs, find it something like it's a civic organization, although we have explained to them that it is an international educational organization. So my question now is, would there be a possibility of changing the name perhaps, so we could, because CHED, if we would like to have CHED, if we have SUCs, state universities and colleges in the Philippines taken for prospective Toastmasters clubs, we would have a lot of indeed clubs. So that is the only challenge that we have. If we could, how we are going to sell it to to CHED, because CHED would just endorse SUCs to have Toastmasters Club in SUCs among the Philippines. If we could have, it could make it appear to them that it is an organization that could serve as a built-in training for their SUCs.
So who will answer that?
Direct Melinda, if I may. Okay. Hello, Direct Melinda.
Yeah, go ahead.
We had experience with one of our regional directors here in Region 10. I think that's Dr. Alan Farnaso. During his time as an RD here in our region, he built clubs for the different teachers and even other parts of the deep ed. But eventually one of our concerns there, the sustainability. When he left also, so the rest of the team members also lie low. But in terms of, I would say, in terms of selling our services, I believe our services are proven to be very, very effective. And truly it's something that we look into the possibility of creating that awareness. In the incoming term, as we are going to have our September 20 district meeting, we shall be presenting to you the budget that would allow us to really make sure that we can have more marketing of Toastmasters outside of Toastmasters to really make sure on this one. But as regards the proven program that we have, it's really here, but it's something that how we can sell that out. But perfectly, we can really make sure to reach out to the decision makers. So RD Parnaso was one of those decision makers. And eventually, and now I even connected to him last week or the other week that how he can also make sure that Toastmasters benefits would be there in his place. Now he's in, I think, Region 11 this time, and looking forward for his connection to us, and eventually make sure that we can make a difference in the lives of our teachers, even state universities. And one of those one is the Sulu State College, which is now ongoing. And eventually, if that would make that one great difference, then we can, it's a precedent actually. So if Sulu can make one and eventually made it, we can make it happen to the rest, like in your division. So I look forward that we can really make sure and attend meetings, and we can have a meeting with your head, or what we call it, regional directors. So they are the decision makers. Yes, go JJ.
So yes, okay, I'm back with regular program. So I really have a challenge to post for the trio, which has been, I've been challenging the trio ever since. How can we get an official OR, or having the presence of Toastmasters here in the Philippines, so that if we want to reach out to, let's say, LGUs or, agencies in the government, we can easily say we are, part of, we are not a fly-by-night group, because we can present an OR. And from what I understand, it is a challenge that the trio must talk to the headquarters to make it happen. Because once we get an OR and a representation here in the Philippines, it's so easy to form a lot of clubs. Because it's so easy also to show an OR for their membership payment, other than the invoice from Toastmasters International.
Initially, Govji, I made this connection with our regional advisor, Marcy. So I actually asked a question during our district training, and what she told me was, although the questions was not presented during our group discussion, but she messaged me that she will have to ask TI about it, and up to now, I think it was overtaken by events with the international convention. But rest assured, I'll be following it up for the possibility of making our district be in the registration of Securities and Exchange Commission, and eventually we can have an OR. Well, how we can do that, but keep assured that we will be taking sure of that notation for that.
Go directly na to the legal of headquarters.
Oh. So
don't go
thank
through
you.
another a lot of RAs and IDs. Go na to legal.
Noted.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Thank you to those who ask questions specially, and to those who are there to answer, our directors. At this point in time, let us go to the closing remarks. And somebody to give us this is, of course, no other than our district director. Please welcome Marilyn Legaspi.
Thank you. Soon to become Distinguished Toastmaster Sucit. Fellow Toastmasters and leaders, a pleasant afternoon once again. This won't take long because I'm sure everybody is very keen on letting to this weekend. But I would say a few words only. So according to Jack Welch, before you become a leader, Success is all about yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. As leaders and as Toastmasters, it is incumbent upon us to really pay it forward. Pay it forward in the sense that if you take a look back, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even more than 10 years, we once upon a time was helped by a fellow man, a fellow Toastmaster, a leader, and even a friend in the process. Now that we have the opportunity to pay it forward, let us all embrace the success of growing others. And what better way to do that is to make sure that we are available in terms of our time, in terms of our commitment, and in terms of having given a chance for a member to grow. One member I tried to really convince, and it took me several months, and I believe 6 months the most, for her to be able to really sign up to become a member. Now, she is a member of our club, my home club, and she is currently the VP membership. And I can see every time that we met that she enjoyed the meeting. She enjoyed her role as a VP membership. And lastly, when I look at the report, we have now, I believe, 12 or 13 members renewed under her leadership as a VP membership. But we will not give this burden to the lady, to the VP membership. It is incumbent upon us to help one another. So paying it forward, helping one member, eventually you'll get a chance to form a club. Forming a club is something, a challenge for everyone. It's not impossible. It is very, very possible. What I say that is very possible because it is a joint effort. It's not an effort of one, it's not an effort of two, but a team's effort for that. Looking at the platform that we have. Now we are in virtual platform, but we can make sure to attend a demo meeting that will be done somewhere in Luzon, a demo meeting that will be done in Visayas, and even in Mindanao because of our platform we have at present. But eventually, the efforts that we're going to have, success will be given a simple thought that once upon a time, this success was given to me, and now I am happy to share that this success of growing a member, growing a club, will eventually make a difference, spreading the best of Toastmasters programs and spreading the best of what we are today. We are the best examples. We are the best advocates for our club, for our organization to prosper. And to prosper this one, it needs our commitment, it needs our time, and the growing passion that we live in our hearts can make it all the difference. So again, to our fellow Toastmasters, to our leaders, I would like to extend my gratefulness for all of one, for my deepest gratitude that you have been there, very brave, taking the roles, the cudgels of leadership, that even in this time, the challenging times that we have, we are still here, standing, resilient, and steadfast, remained focused to the goals that our members, as we pledge that our members will become better as we end our term and even beyond. So growing a club, 6 months and beyond, it's not 6 months and beyond. It is there for us to let them grow, for us to lead and to direct them. And the psychic reward that you felt in your heart will be there forever. Growing a member and seeing that member grew in the process, it's a reward you can feel, a joy in your heart. And that joy will be transported, will be transcending to the rest of the members that will soon be joining us. And for all of us in District 75, we can make a difference. We can do this one. And for all of us, because united, we achieve. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Sucit.
Wow, Toastmaster Nene is always really inspiring every one of us. It's nice to always hear inspiring words from you. We look forward to seeing you next time in the training. At this point, may I request our tech guy to show pictures of art prints. So, my fellow Toastmasters, you see those four art prints because we are very thankful that you've stayed with us this Saturday afternoon, even if we are about 30 minutes over time now. These are paintings from Division E Director Nino, and he's generous to give them away to the participants here in through a raffle. And I'd like to share my screen to see who will be the lucky winner. And wait, I have to open the raffle so it would be easy to access. Stay with me. We'll do this quick.
Susit, kasama na ba ako dyan? Hindi ako pwede magka-hoots eh.
Ah,
Raffle, pwede na ako.
ban
Hindi
ka
ka
na
din.
ba? Ban? Okay. See the wheel here? You know, Toastmaster J, when I did the testing earlier, you won. And then you also won in Kahoot. This must be your lucky day. Let's see. And so I will spin.
Wow, may sounds pa.
Wow! Oh, see? See? Daya ata ito, ha? Let's see if Toastmaster J will be good enough to let go of one. So I'll go directly choosing four winners. We're running out of time. The next one, second picture. No, I already had a testing earlier. Si Jayden. Okay, Toastmaster Ian.
Wow.
So take our Toastmaster Miko, please help me take down or take note of who are the winners. The third one. Dun, 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 dun. Halandoni Olivero. Congratulations. Nicey, I can see your face. It seems that you are not happy with the results. And the
I want
last one. Yay.
Nandiyan ba siya?
Vasu Chava. So, congratulations to Jay and Toastmaster Ian and Toastmaster Vasu Java. And the third one is who was that? The third one?
Donnie.
Donnie. So
Donnie.
yes, so please contact us or write your mailing address in the group chat because Toastmaster Nino will send those art prints to you. And so thank you everyone. So we are about to end this training this afternoon. But before that, I just want to exercise more. Can I see thumbs up those who are from Luzon? Luzon. Oh, Abdi, quick. And from Visayas. Oh, there. From Mindanao. I'm from Mindanao. Oh, and the district director is from Mindanao. Aubrey, you are from Mindanao? No. That the thumbs up
Visayas.
was
It was
late.
just left
You're from
over.
Visayas. Yes, yes, yes. So thank you, everyone. And now, can we say that starting a club is much easier than you may think it is? Can we say? Of course, we still have to undergo procedure. And don't you worry because Club Growth Director Jazz, if they have any other questions about this or if they need help, how can they contact you or who will they contact or ask help from?
Yeah, they can connect with me through FB Messenger, my email, or contact number. We have a team of division CGDs that will help you in forming clubs. And the good thing with the online platform is a lot of Toastmasters across the Philippines can help or support the divisions, the areas in forming clubs.
Thank you. And please don't forget to answer the survey form in the group chat. So let's take a photo. Who's going to take the screenshot?
Yeah,
How
I
many
gotcha.
pages? Okay, so please.
Yeah, let's give everyone some time to turn on their cameras.
Okay. So we deliver. We want to see your face. Oh, there you are, Toastmaster Lolly. Hello. And how about you, Toastmaster Evan Rose, Jocelyn? I
Yeah,
think others
Toastmaster
others
John.
are others are camera shy. Let's go. Let's go. Let's take your photo now.
All right, let's start with the first page. So everyone have your really big smiles. 1, 2, 3. Big smiles. All right, let's go for page 2. 1, 2, 3. All right, you can rest. All right.
Yes. And with that, thank you everyone and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye.
Congratulations, Sucit.
Thank you
Congratulations.
very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you to the training team.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Multiple winner.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
For the winners,
Congrats to
please
the
give your
winners.
mail. Yes. For
MJ,
Jay.
grabe
Jay, you are
congrats
so
sa'yo
lucky
ah. Your
today.
day.
It's your
Pasok
day.
ka lang.
All right.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Take
Thank you very
care.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you,
Yan na si
JJ.
Sucit.
Mahaba.
Ingatan
Alam mo
na.
ba, I like, pero mahaba-haba din yung term, yung ano mo ha, time mo.
Eh kasi
But that was
binato
fun.
na
That
ni
was
Jess
never
sa akin
boring.
yung ano.
Wala ako.
Oo.
Binato ni si GD Jess sa akin yung the rest of the ano. But I think it's clearer naman
Thank
yata
you.
for them.
Yes,
Ang
so,
binato ko.
Okay naman.
Yung
okay naman yung
process for to
presentation.
ano.
Yes, but no, I thought
Yung
that was
apat
for
daw
you
kasi
ba?
nasa kanya.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
Hindi, pero kasi yun
who's
din yung
going
critical.
to end this meeting room?
Ikaw.
Miko? O ikaw?
No,
Yung host?
Miko.
Kasi Miko.
Yeah, so see you in the group chat. Thank you.
See you.
Okay,
Share na
thank
lang
you.
ng training
Bye-bye.
evaluation. Thank you.
Saan ko ba yun makita? Dito.
Google
Naka-Nomel
ata
yun.
yun. Google.
Dito kay